Hi, Cougar fans. Good opportunity here to catch up with Cougar head men's basketball coach Brian Barone as we sit here in the middle of a sweltering summer.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any chance at all to take a victory lap, to sit down and just like kind of take in the whole last season?
I mean, it sounds like I'm just saying it, but no.
Right.
It's you get off the flight from Wichita, and then you just hit the ground running. And it's a great thing. I mean, you want to take advantage of the opportunity to capitalize on your name that's out there now and what we've done, and just be part of the community. To be honest with you, we've had a lot of opportunities to do some really cool things, and then next thing you know, it's July. So here we go.
How much time off do the returners get? Do they get some time before they're back in the gym? Because I know you're back in the gym now.
Yeah, that was unique. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but you play about 2.5, 3 weeks longer now,
Yeah.
right? Because we're the first team in of the whole tournament, so you have those few weeks of practice. It's another week of a game, and then right then you're about 2 or 3 weeks away from school being over. So we took those 3 weeks off. They went home for another 3 or 4 weeks, and then 2 or 3 weeks, and then they were back in late May. And so we've had about 6 weeks of workouts now, about 5 or 6 weeks, and I had all the new guys, have some of the old guys, and we're ready to roll.
And that's different than it was, right? You've got more time now in the summer than you've had previously.
Yeah, over the last few years, you essentially you have 8 hours that you can work with the guys. 4 in the weight room, 4 on the court, and you can divide it to 40 minutes, 5 days, 4 days. You do it a bunch of different ways, and I think it's a good time to get kind of reestablished to the fundamentals, get to the core of who you are, get the new guys on with the old guys. Understand how the program's going to move. We've been talking about togetherness and culture. That's been a big focus of ours this summer. We got to, build on this togetherness and always capitalize on our culture. So that's been really the main focus these last 5, 6 weeks.
I certainly felt like that was something that was so good last year. And I know it's not always something that you necessarily put in place. A lot of it has to be organic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Like, you want to put yourself in position to like see the relationships grow. I mean, it's neat. Like you whether it's you're at the house and we play little games that I've played for 40 years since my mom and dad were recruiting the same type of things, and you partner certain guys together that are you just kind of do it. They don't realize you're doing it. But you're doing it within a barbecue setting. You got the veterans have their feet on the couch, and the new guys are trying to be all proper. So what you want is everyone to have their feet on the couch at my house, and so you put them in position to eventually organically kind of become that together team that you want them to be, and then you do that through the recruiting process too. That's very important to kind of understand who you're bringing into the program.
Do you have to do conditioning? Like, is this like old school? Like, are you running lines and stuff? Like, is that stuff going on in the summer?
Every once in a while, if they don't do what I ask very nicely, we will condition a little bit. I've gotten away from you want to build togetherness. Okay, so through some of the Friday finishers, it's tough. Do you want to be in game shape right now in July? No, but you need to be in enough shape that you are able to work on your game at full speed. You got to develop the skill sets that you're going to need during the season, and you can't do that if you're not in shape. But you also put different type of conditioning or different obstacles in front of them. Maybe it's an early morning weight session one day. Maybe it's your Friday finisher on Friday. You get in shape, but you're also building that togetherness. So we do a lot of that stuff, and then September, October is when you really start, trying to get in game shape.
What about when Brian was at Texas A&M? Was Tony doing some conditioning back then?
We were doing a lot of conditioning. So I'm going dark.
PTSD.
Yeah, jeez. So my first year in college was the first time you could work out your players in college. So you used to not be able to do it. You would be like a camp worker, and you could, play at night with the counselors or something like that. The coach could use you as a demonstrator for like an hour in front of 8-year-olds that are like, oh, man, this is great demonstration. This kid's getting his tail kicked in. But my first year of college was, I want to say, the first year of kind of individual summer workouts. And yeah, we did some of the old school miles. We did quite a bit of those things. my dad / Tony Barone was a pretty old school mindset. There's no doubt about that.
What has stuck out, or who has stuck out, is who's making a name right now in July?
No, it's a great question. You sit there and you analyze it every day because you're trying to figure out who's going to be a leader in what they can lead in. Jordan Pickett's doing a great job of trying to move in the program, trying to get, like, he knows how to navigate. He knows how to, quite literally get from A to B sometimes. He understands that, when I'm, talking about tempo or a particular drill, how to get us into that drill. And then once guys he's an example guy. It's nice to have, Arnie is always out there. He's a guy that you got to pull back. He's just a guy like that you're always feeling because he's doing exactly what he's asked to do. And you look at the veterans with Kyle has a great attitude. You got Ring coming. Joe Valerie looks really good right now, and he's been obviously out since the Illinois game. And as we kind of chip away, it's just nice to see those veterans. And then the new guys are very coachable. Extremely coachable, almost to the point where I'm like, hey, just go, make a mistake. Don't worry about me right now. And that's been kind of probably one of the more difficult things. It's almost, I want them to do what I'm asking them to do, but I want them to go hoop a little bit too.
What about a guy like Jack Campion, who is a veteran and a veteran of this league,
yeah,
but he's new to your program?
It's unique because I feel like I've analyzed him for 3 years. And my expectations of what he's capable of doing are very high because I put him in such high regard. I mean, he was always so good against us. You scout, you watch what he's capable of doing. And now I'm learning how to coach him. I'm learning how to be around him day to day. You see the deficiencies and then you see the things he's actually better at than you realize. And I like that his deficiencies right now are just simply probably, hey, go play a little bit more, Don't be afraid to, go play make. And because what he's good at, you can tell that he's been in this league. You can tell that he's been a guy that has 3 years of a lot of minutes under his belt. And he's got a lot of that competitive juices in him. And, he was looking over at our bench, not in a, arrogant way by any means I say that, but he said that through the recruiting process. He wanted to be part of what we had. So it was nice that we're out there trying to figure each other out.
Is it possible to have any feel for what the league will look like come at this point in time? Yeah. I mean, you would more than say I would or somebody else, but what kind of feel can you possibly have for what this league might look like?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think one of the biggest things that you look at. I do a pretty good job of kind of being where I am. You can get caught up in, they just signed that guy, or that's who they're playing, or that's who they hire, any of that kind of stuff. And you do it. I'm not acting like I don't do it, but there is such an unknown.
Yeah.
You don't know of injuries. You don't know of guys that are significantly better than expected. And so I do think when you look at the league, you look at the guys that are coming back. You look at the teams that have a system and an identity, and then you anticipate that it's going to be very similar. I think that there's tenured coaches in this league. There's a lot of guys that have been in the league for several years. So I do think that there's an identity of what several teams are. And you look at schools across the league, they've all gotten better. I mean, it's a competitive league. It really is. There's a lot of talent in this league. And you got some guys coming back too off injury, so it's going to be another go at it.
I imagine the way other coaches are looking at SIUE. You mentioned Joe Valerie, and of course they probably saw a little bit of Joe Valerie, but then didn't have to game plan for Joe Valerie once we got in, and now they're going to have to worry about Joe Valerie.
Yeah, no, that's and that's what I'm saying. There's probably a Joe on another team,
right?
And when you look at it, and he was probably the best player at Illinois. On our team against Illinois.
Yeah, right.
Illinois had some very good players, obviously, but he was impactful, and it was translatable. It wasn't like he just went out there and made some shots. No, he impacted that game the way that he will impact games moving forward. So that's exciting that there's a and that's why I probably stick to our team more than anything because there's so many unknowns right now. But what you also want to do in the summer is you want to establish your identity. You also want to kind of adjust. You got to see, hey, what was good, what was bad. we changed our defense a little bit, probably October going into the season last year. So now this year we've kind of enhanced that a little bit. We've taken it to the next step of teaching it and given us a little bit more time, and we'll see if continues to pay off and things like that.
Well, before we know it, you'll be back on the game floor in front of a crowded First Community Arena, and I know that's something that's exciting.
I mean, that's the best thing. You're on the road recruiting, and when people are talking about First Community, they're talking about, man, I love playing there. Man, you guys are hard to play at home. And I'm like, well, we're the same team on the road. I'm still the same coach on the road. They're still stuck with me on the road, but it's a credit to the people that all came. And I never want to take it for granted, and I never will. But it's really neat to see that other coaches, like I was just out recruiting last week, and several were talking about the impact of our arena because of the people who are there. And that's a credit to this entire community. I mean, it's an experience now, and it's something that I'm really happy to be part of. Moving forward for several years to come, because this community has quite literally helped us go to that next level. And to them, like, they feel you. They feel you. So it's going to be good to go back out there and do it again.
It'll be here before we know it. I appreciate the chance to catch up, Coach.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you, Joe.
Cougars head coach Brian Barone. Basketball season is fast approaching.